You're starting.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Please do settle down. We are going to start the meeting now. In our age, in our senior years of age, the single most important factor for all of us is the well-being of all sorts, physical, mental, spiritual, etc. So, as common as some people with having common background, we thought, let us first do it for our own families, our extended families of the UN. So Sriniji's and the team, they decided that let's have a well-being and health kind of a seminar discussion and invite the people to come here and even share their own views, thoughts. And of course, we have the super specialist, knowledgeable person in Dr. Vinod Kumar, who Mr. Srinivasan will introduce in a bit more detail, but he is a super specialist. And within our UNPAI also, we have good amount of resources in Sriniji, Dr. Sanjiv ji, and Shiv Kumar ji. So I will hand over now. I will request Srinivasan ji to take forward, introduce the people, and start the discussion. And you all, please. This is an interactive program. We are not just, it's not a one-way thing. It's not just that only we are speaking. It's yours and us, yours and us. Do come forward. Do come forward with your thoughts, share, exchange, etc. So with this, Sriniji, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Very good morning. Yes. Okay. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the UN Pensioners Association in India to welcome you all to this special occasion of the Health and Wellbeing Discussion Forum, an exclusive initiative of UNPAI dedicated to promoting holistic well-being and meaningful engagement among UN retirees. This initiative is not just an event. It is a reflection of deep commitment to ensuring that life after active UN service remains fulfilling, healthy, and enriching. Health is not merely the absence of illness. It is the presence of vitality, purpose, and meaningful engagement in life. Through this forum, we seek to create a space where knowledge meets experience, where science meets wisdom, and where we collectively empower each other to embrace aging with dignity and strength. We are truly privileged to have with us today Professor Dr. Vinod Kumar as our chief guest, a towering personality in the field of healthy aging. Dr. Vinod Kumar has had an extraordinary journey. Trained in Agra, Delhi, and London, he has held teaching and research roles across the globe, from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences to assignments in London, Libya, Iran, and in India in Chandigarh, and more places. He also worked with the WHO for a decade as a member of its advisory board on aging and health, attending high-level meetings in Geneva, Tokyo, Bangkok, Vancouver, and beyond, and serving as a consultant in countries like Mongolia and Iran. Dr. Vinod Kumar's insights have shaped public policy through his advisory work with governments, academic institutions, the National Human Rights Commission, the Delhi Police, and NGOs. Widely traveled, deeply appreciated, and a tireless advocate for senior well-being, Dr. Vinod Kumar has received numerous honors, including the Government of India's Vayoshrestha Samman, the Delhi government's Varishta Samman, and the Lifetime Achievement Award from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi. We are equally pleased to welcome his gracious wife, Mrs. Vinod Kumar, who is sitting in front of us today, whose presence adds the warmth of today's gathering. Dr. Vinod Kumar, we look forward to your words and the vision you continue to share so generously. Professor Dr. Vinod Kumar will be joined by 3 distinguished panelists who will contribute to this discussion. I will come to the panelists at the end of the, and in a little while from now. Before that, I feel this is a gathering of UN leaders for a shared purpose. We are privileged to have among us, and we are yet to kind of waiting for her now, Dr. Angela Lusigi, the resident representative of UNDP, who is on her way now. And now, we already have Mr. Darrin Farrant, the director of United Nations Information Center, who is sitting with us. Thank you, Darrin, for joining us today. In fact, we also have Mr. Sanjiv Awasthi, the head of office of International Maritime Organization in Delhi. Sorry, International Organization for Migration. Thank you for correcting, I'm so sorry. My apologies. And he is heading the IOM, International Organization for Migration in Delhi. And we are also waiting to receive Mr. Vinod Mishra, the country manager of UNOPS. But also joining us virtually today is Ms. Parul Agarwala. I hope she'll be joining soon. She is heading the UN Habitat in India. What I would like to say is that the presence of the UN dignitaries today is not just a mark of solidarity, but a testament to the UN's continued commitment to the well-being of those who have dedicated their lives to the UN's mission. You, our distinguished guests from the UN, are not merely attendees. You are the co-creators of this dialogue. Your insights, your leadership, and your presence today inspire confidence that the ideals of the United Nations extend beyond active UN service into a lifetime of shared knowledge, engagement, and well-being. Coming next, UNPAI and I personally immensely pleased that this event is being held with the active participation, encouragement, and support of our fellow UN retirees associations in India. AFUNPI, the headquarters, the Bangalore-based association, which has members from Delhi, and I'll come to that later. And we have WHO's Association of Former Staff Members, and we also have UNICEF's UPGI, UNICEF Pensioners Group India. Their warm endorsement and outreach have enabled many of their members to join us today. And for this, I am sincerely grateful to the leadership and the executive committee of all three associations. We are honored by the presence of Dr. Prem Sharma, who is the Vice President of AFUNPI, representing Dr. Mara Shetty Sinappa, who is based in Bangalore, who is unable to join us owing to some health issues. And thank you, Dr. Prem Sharma. And we also have M.R. Kanagarajan, a close friend of mine. He is the President of the WHO's Association of Pharma Staff Members. And we also have Mr. Dhirendra Asthana, the President of the UPGI. Shombi, welcome. We have with us Shombi Sharp, the UN Resident Coordinator in India. And we warmly welcome you, Shombi, and we are honored to have your presence here. Thank you so much for taking your time. Now, going back to our association with the engagement with the three sister associations in Delhi, their active engagement and shared commitment to mutual collaboration augur well for the unity, solidarity, and empowerment of the broader UN retiree community in India. Shombi, since we kind of is opportunity, what I was telling our audience is that because he is the head of the UN in India. He is heading the United Nations, the UN Resident Coordinator of operational activities of all UN agencies in India. And we are honored and we are immensely pleased to have Shombi Sharp with us. Shombi, what I was telling is that we are privileged to have you, all of you, among us. Because for me, it's a gathering of UN leaders for a shared purpose, Shombi. Let me repeat for your benefit. Since you are here. Your presence is not just a mark of solidarity. I'm repeating for Shombi. Your presence is not just a mark of solidarity, Shombi, but a testament to the UN's continued commitment to the well-being of those who have dedicated their lives to the United Nations mission. You, our distinguished guests from the United Nations, are not merely attendees, including yourself. You are the co-creators of this dialogue. Your insights, your leadership, and your presence today inspire confidence that the ideals of the United Nations extend beyond active service into a lifetime of shared knowledge, engagement, and well-being. Let me once again thank Shombi Sharp for joining us. Now, we are also pleased to welcome Mrs. Malti Jaswal, sitting with us here. Thank you, Malti. And the founder of Inspiring Seniors Foundation, a newly established company with a bold and timely mission to transform aging into an opportunity for healthy longevity, active participation, and purposeful living. The foundation's work stands out not just for empowering seniors, but also for building intergenerational bridges by mentoring and supporting underprivileged children and youth. At a time when healthy aging remains underrepresented in India, their vision of creating a structured, scalable approach to productive aging is both urgent and inspiring. We are also pleased to welcome our friends from IndusInd Bank, Vivek and Abhishek, who joined us today as observers. Their presence reflects a growing interest in exploring meaningful collaborations between the private sector and civil society. A vital step toward building strategic partnerships that can advance our shared goals in healthy aging, financial well-being, and social impact. Thank you, Vivek, and thank you, Abhishek, for joining us today. Now, let me come to the sessions format, and the 5 dimensions of health. Rather than a conventional lecture, today's session is designed as a dynamic and interactive discussion, encouraging active participation from all participants. We will focus on 5 key dimensions of senior health, each of which plays a crucial role in leading a balanced and fulfilling life. Number 1, physical health. which is the foundation of vitality, ensuring mobility, independence, and longevity. Number 2, mental health, which is nurturing resilience, cognitive strength, and emotional well-being. Number 3, social well-being. The power of meaningful connections, shared experiences, and an engaged community. Number 4, connecting with the nature. The therapeutic influence of the natural world on our health and peace of mind. And number 5, spiritual dimensions of health, a deeply personal yet universal quest for purpose, harmony, and inner peace. This is a hybrid session allowing both in-person and virtual participation so that our members from across the country and beyond can benefit from this conversation. To make this conversation as meaningful as possible, we invited our members to share their health concerns in advance, and these will be addressed during the session. I also encourage all of you, especially our esteemed colleagues from UN dignitaries present here, and our fellow retiree associations colleagues, we are honored to have all three of you here, and Inspiring Seniors Foundation, Malti Jaswal, and our friends from IndusInd Bank to contribute to our insights, concerns, and experiences. As leaders and champions of well-being, your perspectives will enrich this dialogue and help us shape future initiatives for our community. To facilitate engagement, our volunteers will be distributing cue cards to the audience on demand. I encourage you to write down your queries, reflections on key points you would like to be addressed, and hand them back to the volunteers. This will be compiled and directed to our guest speaker and panelists as appropriate, ensuring that we address as many perspectives as possible. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that while today's session will touch upon various aspects of health, it is not a medical consultation. We kindly request that personal medical queries be avoided, though we welcome broader discussions on preventive health, lifestyle strategies, and holistic well-being. Now, let me come to the distinguished panelists here. We are honored to have with us Dr. Sanjiv Kumar, a distinguished public health expert. And yes, he happens to be Dr. Vinod Kumar's student of MBBS in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi. Dr. Sanjiv Kumar served with distinction in UNICEF and as a consultant for WHO, and later led key public health institutions in India, including as executive director of an institute under the Ministry of Health. Dr. Sanjiv Kumar has been recognized with 4 fellowships and 8 awards, including 2 from the United Nations. We are also delighted to acknowledge the presence of his wife, Dr. Neeta Kumar. Neeta ji, yeah. Dr. Neeta Kumar is a retired professor of pathology and a cancer diagnosis expert. Dr. Sanjiv Kumar currently serves as the Vice President of the UN Pensioners Association, India. Now, we are pleased to welcome our next panelist, Mr. Shiv Varma, a seasoned UN retiree who served with the World Health Organization for over 3 decades and has been an active member of the UN Pensioners Association in India, including a past tenure on its executive committee. Following his retirement in 2001, Mr. Varma dedicated himself to promoting healthy living, authoring the bilingual book, Portraits of Healthy Lifestyles, with support from HelpAge India. A yoga enthusiast, Mr. Varma continues to inspire others through his YouTube videos and wellness-focused messages shared widely within his community and outside. Now, as the third panelist on today's forum is myself, I need little introduction about myself. With that, I now have the honor of inviting our chief guest, Professor Dr. Vinod Kumar, to share his insights with us. Thank you. Over to Dr. Vinod Kumar.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Srinivasan, President of UNPAI, Dr. Sanjiv Kumar, the Vice President, and my longtime friend, Mr. Shiv Kumar Varma ji. I'm very grateful for your kind introduction and a very interesting introduction too. And dwelling upon most of the points, making my task easier to put the subject in context. I would like to say that all these three gentlemen, Mr. Srinivas, Dr. Sanjiv, and Shiv Kumar ji, since they came to me for personally inviting me last month, they have successfully navigated journey to this today's event with example of perfection and persistence, keeping me informed at every stage about the preparations that they were undertaking. Thank you very much for all this. Now I would like to say that why we are having this program. Of course, this program is close to the heart of every person, particularly the senior citizens. Everybody wants to live a healthy, happy life of golden years. And let me first say that we do not like to regard the senior citizens as a burden on the society. In my opinion, they are precious assets. Although they have uncertainties about their health and well-being, which we are going to discuss. But at the same time, I would like to say that they also by themselves can enjoy health, happiness, and activity in their life by virtue of so many assets they are already possessing, but we have not yet given a full utility and exploitation to those assets. For example, they enjoy the respect because of their experience and long life of challenges and successes, so they have learnt a lot in their life. Secondly, they are also an epitome of resilience because they have coped with the life and they can better face all the challenges even at that stage where the decline starts. Number three, they have excellent interpersonal skills. They are the best negotiators, they are the mediators, they are very flexible. Number four, they are spiritually very strong. And as the days go by, they become stronger and stronger in this sphere. And that also is a source of happiness, well-being, and health. Number five, they have a great value of what is called generational transference. It is these people who are transferring the legacy apart from the material assets to the next generation, to the next generation. And in this bargain, the other generation learns a lot and the elderly feel happy to part away with this kind of legacy of culture. And lastly, very importantly, they have better than the younger segment, they have better self-caring skills. They are very conscious of caring for themselves. What we have to do is that we just have to supplement to give them a health span, not simply a lifespan, a long health span. I think 20th century was a century of longevity when the lifespan increased from 32 years in this country in 1947 to now almost 67 or 68 years now. So this was a century of longevity. But this 21st century awaits us for giving a span of health also, not simply the life, but healthy life. Because presently, on an average, about 10 years are spent in the old age when they are suffering. They are alive, but they keep suffering. So that is the morbidity we have to compress and make their life healthy. So this is, I think, the context that I would like to say. And I have only 10 slides because I'm supposed to have a short lecture about 25 minutes as I've been permitted. And after that, I look forward to a real interactive session. And I'm at a dilemma what to speak during my 10 slides and what to expect the barrage of points from you later on. So I will try to eliminate this kind of overlap. So if I have a first slide, Gurmeet ji. Yeah, this is the first, this is the second slide. Slide earlier than that, yes. Yes. So this slide, I think if you confine your kind attention to the lowermost part, which is little less visible, here I'm trying to emphasize that healthy aging is a lifelong process. All practices have to be carried out lifelong if you want to remain happy and have a well-being in old age. But it is never too late to begin. Even at the age of 80 years, if you wish to start these practices more seriously, it is never too late. You will still enjoy the fruits of these exercises. That is important thing that I am trying to pass across this message. Next slide, please. Now, as we know, growing old is a privilege given to us by God, right? Although it is greeted with uncertainties about health and well-being. You will be surprised to know that only in this country, only 10 or 11 people live out of 100 for more than 60 years of age. So all the people who are sitting here, we are already very fortunate. We are full of assets and there is nothing to despair. The production that I am going to share with you today is on developing and maintaining functional ability to health and well-being in old age, encompassing all those 5 areas of discussion that our worthy president presented to us. And this production is based not entirely on science, it is also based on education. It is based my own perceptions and notions that are accumulated over my lifetime. It is also based on UN Decade of Healthy Aging. We are right in the middle of this decade of healthy aging now. 2021 to 2030 is the decade of healthy aging. This important initiative was begun in 2021 with 4 important ideas. The first idea is we have to change how we think about old age. That's number 1. We have to abolish or demolish the concept of ageism, discriminating against the age. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to create the environment and communities which are age-friendly. If somebody wants to go out of walk, he should not be walking on a street with full of potholes. So aging community should be pleasant for every elderly person. The third is we have to provide the integrated care and services at the primary healthcare level so that a person, when he reaches old age, he gets all the health information and advice that is due to him. And lastly, provide long-term care for those people who require such a care. Not everyone requires, but many do require. So this is an important, and I think another golden point in the UN decade of healthy aging is that there are certain enablers. One of the enabler is listening to the voices of senior citizens themselves, listening to the families, to the societies. This is something which is special. And at the moment, work is going on, a platform has been provided, online space is given to all of us all across the world so that people can put their ideas, can inform their experiments, how to improve the lives of older persons. Next slide, please. This is the usual disclaimer, and the President has already said that it is not a medical consultation, it is just an informational exercise. Next slide, please. Now the challenges. So I think we had enough of praises and admirations for old age. So we will now like to come to what health challenges one sees. Now, this list is already incomplete. There are countless many other things which can be added to this list. But on the left side, these are the usual symptoms that an aged person may experience. They are often not life-threatening, but they are a part and parcel of aging process. They could also be present in those who have diseases, but even if they have no disease at all, they can experience these things. And on the extreme right side is the alphabetical list of common chronic disorders that the old people may suffer. But I would like to read out the adverse situations which even the medical fraternity doesn't care much. Age discrimination. So there is sometimes to the extent of neglect and abuse of the aged people. They suffer from bereavements. Of course, they have chronic diseases, quite common. They may suffer from depression, emotional disorders, mood swings, falling income and falling status, generational disconnect. There is no eye-to-eye contact with your own grandchildren sometimes. And there is a problem in issues regarding the healing of anything physical or even psychological coping. And lastly, is about isolation and loneliness with which many people find themselves directionless. Next slide, please. Now, we come to the main brass task, fulfilling the golden years through healthy aging practices. There are many practices. It's a big ambit, but I would like to say that whatever I'm going to tell you, probably I'm not telling you anything new. You all already know. You can regard it as a revision of class. But I would just like to say that these changes, by narrating these practices, we are reinventing the wheel. You probably all remember Hindu culture and old scriptures since thousands of years are also talking of the same thing, the preventive strategies, having a long life, a fulfilling life. Today, artificial intelligence is doing that. It is also preventing by genome sequencing, putting the things in machine learning, and then telling the person, oh, you're going to get heart attack after 5 years, so be careful. So this is how they are preventing. So this reinventing the wheel is taking place. Next slide, please. This is my key slide. These are the things that I'm going to briefly discuss with you. In English, it is written what is the heading, but you will notice that each of these practices start with a Hindi word which starts with a Hindi letter sa. In English, it's called S. So forget about the Hindi words. It is only for easy remembrance, and this is simply created by me. I do not know whether it carries any meaning or not, but diet, hydration, and no addiction is the first thing. Now, here we are not going to have a vibrant discussion on diet and its intricacies, but I would like to narrate some common principles of a balanced diet. The diet for an elderly person should be having enough of micronutrients which is neglected, should have adequate amount of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, proteins of good quality, carbohydrates which should be complex and not the refined sugars, and finally the fiber. And another thing is that they should remain hydrated. You see, they lose their thirst and they forget to take the required amount of water. And in the lighter vein, I found when I was sitting there, only I was there where there is no glass of water. So, but I felt satisfied that I have got a guldasta where there is a water, so I can still enjoy my hydration through these flowers. So that is the hydration. No, but I was sitting there. So, in addition to these protein, blah, 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 etc., and water, there are 2 or 3 more principles that I would like to narrate. Firstly, that you should not, the dictum is that you should not have excess of anything, like excess of sugar, excess of salt, excess of oils, and so on. And second dictum is that you should eat up to 80% full, no excess overeating. There is an adage in English that the food that you leave on the table does more good to you than the food that you have eaten. With regard to the exercises, again, an engaging dialogue can be captured, but I would defer it when we enter into the interactive session. Suffice it will be to say that exercise is an important part of life. And again, I will quote, and this quote is used to be very famous before, that if you don't find time to do exercise, you will soon find time to illness. And what are the principles of exercise? Now, there are umpteen numbers of exercises. We can discuss them depending on the individual to individual requirement, but they could be aerobic exercise, they could be anaerobic exercise. Anaerobic exercises are not recommended for elderly people, but they could be strengthening exercises, resistance exercises, balancing exercises, and last but not the least, yogic exercises, which are stretching exercises. Again, I will dwell upon the Hindi scriptures and the Vedas and Puranas, how these yoga postures were initiated, and how our Prime Minister few years before went to the United Nations and gave a speech and asked for a plea to observe International Yoga Day on 21st June every year, and that is being done across the country, across the world rather. So these are the exercises. Suffice it will be to throw at this stage that usually it is safe to do the exercises in the form of walking to the extent of brisk according to your wellness and health. About 30 minutes of walking per day, that means 150 minutes per week if you do it at least for 5 days. So this is the safe one. I'm not very good proponent about the step counting of 10,000 for elderly people. But there are 2 thorns that I would like to say, that if you embark upon a certain type of exercise, it's better to consult either a doctor or a physiotherapist or a yoga expert, because many elderly people may have hidden morbidity which they may not be knowing about. The second is prolonged sitting is very bad for life. Prolonged sitting is now equal to new smoking. Sitting is new smoking. So even if you are sitting on a computer for 3 hours, in between, get up for at least 2-3 minutes, have a round, raise your hand so that you are not constantly sitting all the time. Coming to the second part, that is third part, we have finished exercise. Social engagement. Man is a social animal. We all want to be with the familiar faces, familiar places, and familiar objects. Social enrichment, which was hitherto a relatively neglected area, But during last 20 or 30 years, I think this has awakened the whole mankind. What is the importance of social enrichment, social interaction? According to social workers, rather top social scientists, one of them is a top social scientist, the benefit, the health benefit of social interaction is equal to weight reduction and smoking cessation. Socializing behaviors are also congenial for warding off loneliness, isolation, and they also improve your mood, psychology, and even cognitive power. So this is so important. And there are umpteen or unending exercises in this field of social enrichment. Volunteering activities or group activities, companionship and friendship, and we can discuss all that later on. Then the next one is the mental engagement, which I also call as cognitive engagement. Here I would like to remind myself and all of you that brain challenging is more important, and brain is more important even than our body, I think. Brain is the orchestra of our body. It commands the body, like these commandments. So we only act under command of the mind or brain. And this is therefore important to keep your brain active and challenging. And if you use it or lose it, I think we all know it for quite long time. So brain, and this particularly applies to older people. You see, while we are young, we are all the time using our brain for every purpose that we like or dislike. But in old age, they are directionless. They don't know what to do. So their brain, and already the aging is declining their cognitive power. So for brain has to be always active. And there are many ways to do it. And I would try to just summarize few of these brain challenging exercises. One is do any task which involves effort. It's not simply, now I'm speaking to you, I'm having some effort. You are listening to me, you are having some effort. So do anything or accomplish anything which like suppose somebody in the old age wants to learn a musical instrument, it will be an effort. Somebody wants to imbibe a new language, it will be an effort, but it will be very healthy for the brain. Second is you befriend the next generation, befriend the grandchildren, play with them all kinds of games. This is not only socially and emotionally fulfilling, it is cognitively fulfilling too. Third is, you can say, engage yourself in creative work, painting, arts, photography, or whatever hobby you want, but it brings creation. Even preparing a slide like this is a creative work, I would say. So creative is important. D means use the dominant as well as non-dominant hand. You see, our right hand is governed by left brain. Our left hand is governed by the right brain. But if we are right-handed, we are always working with the right hand. We never use left hand. But it is important that you use both the hands. So how to use the left hand? When you open the door, try to open sometime the door with your left hand. For women, it's quite good. They are using the knitting with the both hands. So I think if you are playing an instrument, it always requires two hands. So both hands requirement is also important. Then exploring the internet without getting addicted to internet. But I think there are many online activities that which the elderly people should also do. But what is happening? The elderly people are often asking their children, please pay my bill. Please buy this on shopping. Please do this. They should do themselves, even at the cost of frustration. And if you do it, your brain will remain active. Then there are other things like fun with puzzles. There are puzzles, there are crosswords. I think in the olden days, my father used to fill crosswords. Now the crosswords have gone, the newspapers have gone. So there are other puzzles which have come. So then after fun, and then you can do gardening, planning a garden. Gardening requires a physical help, physical strain and physical exercise. But plan a garden. If you plan a garden, that requires the brain challenging. So like this, there are so many things. And lastly, healthy jokes and humors. is a part of social life. That also, because it will make you think how to answer if somebody's joke. So these are the mental engagement. How much time I have finished?
Any answer?
Okay. Now, hygiene. Hygiene is, of course, from the medical point of view, we all think hygiene is hand hygiene, bathing, grooming yourself, dressing yourself with clean clothes and all that, and bowel hygiene. So all those things are medical hygiene. But I would like to remind two more hygienes here. One is the modern world hygiene. What is the modern world hygiene? You step into a mall, you will find the shelves full of personal cosmetic products, nail polish, hair sprays, powders, perfumes, and also a lot of packed edibles in the plastic containers, maybe frozen feed, frozen meat, processed meat, all those kinds of things. And you will find beverages in metal cans. Little knowing the fact that there are toxins involved in these kinds of products. These toxins are called endocrine disruptors. They are hormone disrupting chemicals. It gave me an interest to go into this subject because I am an endocrinologist by training, which I have forgotten long ago since I took up this aging field. But in the case of edibles, for example, during the transport, during the manufacture, during the storage, there are certain toxins, which I call as disruptors. They leach out into the food, and that food you are eating. Similarly, in the personal care products that I named just now, there are endocrine disruptors entering during the process of manufacturing. And certain countries, very few countries now, are regulating and monitoring what kind of things are on the shelf of the malls. So this is important. And it is always better to have unprocessed food, not the processed food. You should try to have, if possible, if one can afford, have organic foods, and try not to bring the high fashion kind of products which have undergone no monitoring at all. So this is one aspect, because if you do not do it, the following diseases can happen: diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, dementia, even cancer. That is one. And another thing that is happening in our country, roadside, there are so many hawkers sitting there. They are selling so many edibles using trans fat and whatnot, God knows. They are all toxic. Then another point about hygiene I would like to say, particularly because this country and many other dense countries have got a lot of pollution level. Outdoor pollution is very high. Can we do something? I think government is doing whatever it can. But as an individual, we cannot do except putting a mask on your face. I think I always keep a mask. Yeah, I have a mask. So when you go out and you find there's a crowded and smoky area, you can use a mask, but nothing else you can do about the pollution. But lot of you and lot of us can do what is called indoor pollution. Indoor pollution is there. Apart from the emanating toxins and hanging in the air from the personal products, there is also dust in everyone's house, howsoever he may keep it clean. This dust may be coming from textiles or upholstery, from clothing, from furniture polishing, or from the pet danders, moisture density to moisture and some kind of a dusty environment. This is all there without your seeing. So what I would suggest, that convert your house green. Bring some plants inside, and I will name 3 plants which are supposed to be anti-polluting plants. One is called Areca palm plant. Areca palm plant, it can be just in pots. Areca palm plant has a ability to absorb the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, trichloroethylene, formaldehyde from the air and make it clean and emit oxygen. The second plant, the second plant is called money plant. The third plant is called the mother-in-law tongue plant. I don't know why it is called. It is also called bedroom plant. It is also called snake plant. So there are multiple names of this plant. Anyway, I will not go into these. So then about sleep hygiene, I think the usual rigmarole, how to sleep better. I think I need not tell you, but we will discuss in the interactive session about the pranayama, breathing exercises, meditation, and so on. Spirituality, there is lot to offer. I am a proponent of spirituality. I have gone through a lot of literature about health benefits of spirituality, and there are ways to be spiritual. They are all within our hand, but it should not be confused with religion. Religion or religiosity is only one of the small part of the entire spiritual universe. Happiness and contentment, and then positive thinking, and lastly, health checkup. Now, happiness, I think happiness is intertwined with health and longevity, no doubt about that. And I think to have healthiness, to have happiness within is important. There are many external factors of happiness: income, education, good dress. But there are two other internal sources of happiness which are not under our control. Genetics. There are families who are cheerful. Their children are cheerful. Second is physical attributes, your personality, how you conduct yourself. This is also God-given gift. You can acquire to some extent. But another thing, as a medical man, I would like to inform you that there is an internal system of drawing happiness, internal system in our body. And this internal system of body acts by the following mechanism. Our brain and many other parts of the body, they have the capacity to produce certain hormones and neurotransmitters. These are called happy hormones, also called feel-good hormones. For example, they are dopamine, serotonin, endorphin, melatonin, and so on. And you can certainly generate these happy hormones. How? They can be generated by healthy foods, exercises, meditative practices, yoga, laughter, sunlight, and many other. So it can be done. And some of these things are available in market also as a preparation. So that is about happiness. And of course, in inner happiness, there is another thing we can talk about: transcendental meditation. It gives bliss. And there is a bliss hormone also called endocannabinoids. Positive thinking is just optimism. I will not spend much time. And last is health checkup. I think all the senior citizens should celebrate their birthday with an annual health checkup. The health checkup should not be forgotten ever. It provides you just have to go to a doctor, but it should be a genuine doctor like me, not any other. Not a commercial doctor. So what you have to do, he will examine you from head to toe. He will also ask you some questions, if necessary, or there is a set protocol of putting you to certain laboratory tests, sometimes including ultrasound and X-ray test also. And finally, he will also tell you when do you need vaccination. These are the 4 principles of medical advice that you should expect from him, and you can ask any other question from him depending on your requirement. The second thing is, always tell your doctor if you have the following symptoms. One is sudden change in your bowel habit, feeling of a lump in any place of the body, including breast in females. Third is there is an unexplained weight loss or weight gain. Fourth is there is an unexplained bleeding from any source of the body. There is a cough or breathlessness going on for more than 3 months. And lastly, if there is any sign of impending neurological catastrophe like numbness, weakness, slurring of the speech, dizziness, or vertigo. So these things you should immediately, don't wait for your birthday, go back, go and inform the doctor that you have this problem. And last but not the least, this is my last sentence, that as an elder person, as a part of your good health, you should avoid the following. Number one, dusty atmosphere, polluted atmosphere, and you should also avoid driving if your reflexes are slow, if you are under drugs, or if your vision or hearing is impaired. You should have your house be safe, without slippery bathrooms, cluttered furniture, good lights everywhere, ramp in the bathroom or staircases, or grip bars, so that you make your house safe. So these are some of the things. Now I think I can go on for 3 hours and I will consume the whole time, but I stop here, and I look forward to a very enriching interaction, and to the best of ability, I will try to answer. And I also feel that when you ask questions, I also learn. I also learn quite a little, because I've already told you, senior citizens, everyone has a good story to tell. So point your guns and go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Vinod Kumar. Thank you. It was very, very enriching, very, very thought-provoking. Thank you, sir. So now we begin. We begin the.
Sanjiv is this.
Yes.
Sanjiv.
Yes, we now begin the questions and answers. And some of our friends, colleagues, members of the UNPAI, they have already given to us in writing. So first we will take the questions which we have already received in writing, and Dr. Sanjiv Kumar will take up that first question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's been, I would say, mind-opening presentation by you, made us reflect on a lot of things. Some of our colleagues have already sent their questions. So I'll start with the first one, and then other colleagues will look at other questions. This is from our colleague Sushil Kumar Sharma. Are you there? Okay, maybe online. The question is related to COVID and its impact on life. The COVID pandemic has left a lasting impact on global health, with new studies and medical reports suggesting that long-term complications, often referred to as long COVID or post-COVID conditions, are now emerging in many individuals. These complications seem to affect multiple organ systems, including cardiovascular system, liver, kidneys, respiratory system, and even neurological functions, including conditions like Parkinson's disease. So given this concern, the question is, could you please share your insights on whether post-COVID complications affecting multiple organ systems are now being recognized as a significant public health concern? If so, what preventive measures and lifestyle choices can an individual adopt to minimize these risks?
Well, I think it is an important question, and it reminds us of the fact that after effects of COVID-19 are still lurking in our minds. You see, whenever any kind of symptoms, there are many symptoms of long COVID, but whenever any such symptoms suspicious of long COVID, they last for more than 3 months, we call it long COVID. If it's less than 3 months and they disappear, forget about it. But if they last for more than, it's called, by definition, it becomes long COVID. The second point I would like to say that about 6% of all patients who suffered from COVID-19, they have long COVID, only 6%. The third point is, whatever I have seen, or learned, the scale of the COVID-19 in its long form is probably coming down. It's no longer the same scale as it used to be during the 2 or 3 years post-COVID pandemic. That is third. Fourth is, I think it's important to know what are the symptoms of COVID-19, what are the consequences of organ effects in long COVID. The symptoms are numerous, but I would say that following symptoms to be kept in mind. They are often vague. The symptoms are that they lose sleep, for example. They feel fatigued all the time. They have changed the taste. They can't taste properly. They have also impairment of their smelling power. They have functional difficulty in moving themselves. That is another one. So, and they can have headaches also. So these are some. But talking of more serious things, they can have stroke, they can have heart disease, they can have aggravation of chronic liver disease, chronic kidney disease, and even dementia. And they also have difficulty in concentrating, attending to certain things. That is called brain fog. So what can one do? I think if you get these kind of symptoms, even if you don't get the usual well articulated disorders that I have named, of course, if you get those disorders, you will go to a doctor. But if you are getting uncomfortable and distressful by the so-called vague symptoms for any length of time, I think you have to go to a doctor. It's the doctor who will tell you whether these are real symptoms of COVID-19 or he requires to put you on checkup, test, etc. But what you can do yourself is also important. And I think sleep hygiene for sleep, for functional ability, you have to do what is called fall prevention exercises. We can talk about that. You can self-care in other ways that I have enumerated on my master slide. So these are all the things that you can do as far as the COVID-19 vague symptoms are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I now request Varma ji, Shiv Kumar Varma ji, to ask the questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you. This is also a question from one of the members of UNPAI. He says, in the context of aging and longevity, it is crucial to explore practical steps that can help older adults enhance their health span and quality of life. His question is, what are the key lifestyle and medical interventions that older adults can adopt to strengthen their immunity, maintain cognitive health, and improve overall well-being in the post-pandemic world? I think you have already spoken about it. So.
Well, I have spoken, but as I said at that time, I will take the opportunity during interactive discussion to expand some of these points. Basically, as Varma Sahab, what you said is that I have already spoken all the points that will be applicable as an answer to this question. But maybe I dwell and slightly expand at this stage on sleep as well as on spirituality. Now, as far as spirituality is concerned, this can be practiced by 4 ways. There are 4 avenues to spirituality. First is called intrapersonal, that is within you. Second is in relation to others with whom you are all the time interacting. That is called communal or interpersonal. Third is environmental, how you can use the environment to practice spirituality. Fourth is by connecting yourself to something more than you, something more powerful. What is intrapersonal? Intrapersonal means, as I said earlier, most people, we have been sent by God with certain spiritual traits. These become stronger by day as you become old. There could be numerous spiritual traits in an individual. It could be forgiveness, it could be optimism, it could be repentance, it could be introspection, it could be gratitude, it could be venerating your role models, venerating your faith, or it could be empathy or compassion. And the list is countless. You can strengthen these spiritual beliefs and traits for your own well-being by practices like prayer, worshipping, that is religion, but also by pranayama, by undertaking pilgrimages, by meditations of different techniques, and by a host of techniques for mindfulness. This is one way. With regard to the communal approach, you just have to be altruistic towards everybody. You have to love everyone. You have to show compassion. You have to respect the privacy of everybody, and no grudge, no jealousy. That is the conduct. Third is environmental, very important. Environmental is very important. Here you exploit your senses. God has given us 5 senses, apart from the spiritual sense, but the physical senses are 5. One is the vision, that is sight. Second is the hearing. Third is touch. Fourth is taste. Fifth is smell. So you exploit the environment by sighting. Sighting means I'm not asking you to climb the mountains or descend down to the ocean, but you can go to the green spaces, you can go to the blue spaces like lakes and rivers in your neighborhood. You can go and see certain things by your own things. You can see the sun setting, you can see the sun rising. You can also see many other things like you all believe in certain faiths, most of them believe in certain faiths. You can visualize or you can see the physical thing where Om is written, where is Allah is written, where is cross is written, where are other symbols of Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism are written. So you see them and you mindfully see them. That is sight. Hearing, you hear the devotional songs, you hear the yesteryear songs or bhajans, what you say. So this is the hearing. Now, as far as the taste is concerned, you taste only the spiritual foods. The spiritual foods are same which I would name when I talk about diet more. These are on the Ayurvedic principle. So these are spiritual foods. And then I talked about the touch. So you can touch the deities, you can touch the feet of the deities, you can touch the various idols by visiting temples. So that is touch. So touch, taste, smell, vision, hearing, and smell. Well, I think one of the ways to exploit your smell sense is put an incense stick in your house and burn it and enjoy the aromatic fragrance of that. So these are all spiritual things which give you an insight of pleasure, happiness, and indirectly a good mental health, and secondarily even a physical health. I can discuss on and on all these things. So this is the third way. And last is, of course, meditation. Transcendental meditation is, I think, beyond reach of a common man. You require a lot of training from a teacher, but the other meditations are within reach. The meditation could be a mindful meditation. It could be a imagery meditation. It could be a body scan part meditation. It could be a Tai Chi meditation, which is a moving meditation. It could be a walking meditation, a simple. So many things. I think they all need to be explained in great detail by the experts. I am no expert, but I could partially explain many of these things. So that is what I would say he should employ. Thank you.
May I now request Srinivasan to take up the next question that we will see.
Yes, and I have a question from one of our members who has shared a deeply personal experience that reflects the challenges many retirees face, navigating life after retirement while dealing with loss of loved ones, health concerns, and emotional struggles. Having lost his spouse during COVID and undergone a heart bypass surgery, he now finds himself living alone, struggling with emotional resilience, disturbed sleep, and uncertainty about how to engage in practices like yoga to maintain his well-being. His experience highlights a real-life concern that many older adults encounter: how to balance physical health, emotional well-being, and quality sleep in the face of major life transitions. Now, the question to Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir, is many retirees struggle to adapt to life after major transitions, especially when faced with personal loss and health challenges, as in the case I just described. From your experience, Dr. Vinod Kumar, what practical guidance would you offer to someone in this situation? How can one adapt? How can one adopt safe and effective wellness practices to support his physical health post-bypass surgery or any surgery for that matter, while also addressing emotional well-being, sleep disturbances, and safely integrating yoga or mindfulness into his daily routine? Thank you.
I think it's a very important question, and I would not dismiss this question by just answering that whatever practices we have narrated, he should do it. I think I will go further on it. I think one has to determine the circumstances under which such a person is compelled to lead his life. We have to find out whether he himself is adequately prepared enough to undergo these practices by himself, or he needs what is called a caregiver, a care provider. Because you imagine an elderly person whose wife is suddenly taken ill with a chronic illness requiring transfer to a rehabilitation facility. And this man, whose children live in America, he is left alone in the house suddenly, and he is definitely going to undergo a lot of stresses. And if he is not capable, he needs to have a caregiver. But if he is capable, in addition to all the things that I've told you, like diet and exercise and etc., spirituality, I've already told you, if he is able to do all that, it's okay. But in addition, he can do two or more things. One is that if he can manage to do yoga and pranayama, because he has specifically asked about yoga, and he has undergone a bypass surgery. Now, there are very few studies available where the yoga-mediated rehabilitation after bypass surgery has been tested. But in Bengaluru, there was a good study done, and that good study says that yoga-based rehabilitation compared to the conventional physiotherapy-based rehabilitation both are equally good. And yoga has been shown in such bypass patient surgery to improve their left ventricular ejection fraction, to raise the level of bad hormones, to lower the level of bad hormones, to improve cholesterol, to improve blood sugar, and so on. So yoga has a place. So what yoga he can do? Now, I am not a yoga teacher. What pranayama he can do? So I will just tell you very briefly that if he is able to sit and lie down by himself in a peaceful environment, he can carry out the usual yoga postures with consultation from a yogic expert. But if he is not able to properly sit, he has a tendency to fall, for example. Many elderly people, they lose their balance. So they can do what is called chair yoga. You might have heard what is called chair yoga. Chair yoga is quite... Yes. So chair yoga is is quite comfortable. He just has to sit in the chair, which should not have any arms, and he can do some short postures. One is called upward salute posture. One is called mountain posture. Other is called pigeon posture. I cannot demonstrate to you here, but these are simple he can do. Pranama, I will talk about pranama because he has also said, how can one adapt safe and effective wellness practices? Now, one of the wellness practices is pranayama. Pranayama is not simple breathing exercise. There are many types of breathing exercises. There are many types of pranayamas. I would only tell you 3 pranayamas. And they are easy to remember, easy to do. One is called Anlom Vilom. You have heard about what is Ramdev. So that is called Nari Shodhan, Nari Shodhana. So this is nostril breathing, anyone can do. Second, even simpler than that, one is called bee breathing. Bee means honeybee. Bee breathing. What is bee breathing? You inhale, then hold the breath, and then exhale. While you are exhaling, you make a bee sound from the throat. Humming sound like the bee makes. Brahma Yoga, you know, it's a Brahma Yogi, Brahma Yoga. So Brahmi Yoga. Brahmari Yoga. So this is Brahmari Yoga. So this is another. So you know better than me. So this is one. The third one is called equal breathing. It is also called box breathing. What is equal breathing? You inhale, count 4, up to count 4, inhale. Then hold your breath up to count 4. Exhale your breath up to count 4. And then stop for up to count 4 and restart the cycle. This is called equal breathing. 4, 4, 4, 4. It is also called box breathing. So he has to read it, or he has to be told by somebody, because what I am telling you is not something very, very precisely doable.
I'm sure he is attending virtually because he doesn't want to he wants anonymous and won't announce his name. Okay. And I don't think he's around here. But as he said, he will be attending virtually. He'll be hearing.
Okay. So these are the 3 pranayamas. Similarly, he could do mindfulness. Now, mindful breathing, what is mindful breathing? In the simplest sense, now why the mindfulness has come up in great, it's a buzzword of the last, I think, 3 decades. I didn't hear mindfulness before. I think the reason is that, God has sent us as a unitasker. But what we are doing is multitasking. You are doing same thing. While you are driving the car, you are seeing the telephone. You are yelling at the other drivers. So how will you concentrate on your driving? If you are seeing a television show, you are also eating at the same time on the bed. And your child comes with a lesson book. Papa, please tell me what is the answer. You will also start calculating the answer. So how you are enjoying eating? So multitasking. So in the olden days, when we were all unitaskers, a phrase came, killing two birds with one stone. You remember that? And we were very happy. But now we are killing 5 birds with one stone. And this is all the time crisscrossing our mind. Our mind is drifting to so many directions, and that is the origin of mindfulness. And you will be surprised to know that in America, one of the studies on multitasking has shown that billions of dollars are lost in productivity as a result of multitasking, notwithstanding the fact that even today the multinationals employ people who are apt in multitasking. So that is so mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? One is mindfulness, ordinary one, the breath mindfulness. You just have to take, inhale, exhale. But when you inhale into the belly, not into the chest. You can put your hand and you'll find your belly goes up, exhaling, belly goes down. That is mindful breathing. Second is, I told you, something called imagery mindfulness or imagery meditation. You just have to imagine something, that you are in a forest or you are you are concentrating on a symbol of faith and do the breathing. Third is the body part scan. You can just, while you are lying down, and concentrate and not let your mind drift away from the present moment by thinking about your leg, about your foot and ascending upward. So you have to concentrate, because every time you mindfulness, you exercise mindfulness, your mind gets drifted away by the thoughts of the day that has passed, or by the thought that the future tomorrow will come into it. So that mindfulness is important. So I think if we can do that plus all these things, I think this is the gist of wellness.
Sorry, if I can, Dr. Vinod Kumar, if I can ask, mindfulness can also be said as to remain in the present. Am I right, isn't it? Mindfulness to remain in present, correct me if I'm wrong, to whatever we are doing, whether you are kind of sitting or walking or driving or whatever it is, to remain in the present, that itself is, am I correct? Maybe we can put it in the right perspective, sir.
Well, I think the basic theme is what you said. And I also said, when you are doing mindfulness, your mind is drifting away and you have to bring yourself into the present moment. So it is the crux of the mindfulness that you do not allow your mind to wander away. But it will wander away in the night and it will keep drifting and crisscrossing. So you have to bring your mind's attention to the present moment. And by doing it again and again, if not on the same night, after 5 or 6 nights, you will be able to keep your mind at that moment of mindfulness in the present moment. And here I would like to say that there is something else where you help your mind not only to come to your present moment, you induce your mind to go beyond the present moment. What is that? You know that. Now, what is going beyond is, that is called transcendental meditation. Transcendental meditation is very difficult to carry out for a common man. You need a teacher. He gives you a mantra, a sound or a word, and you carry out the same thing. Inhale, exhale, and a sound is going on, and finally it is a 20-minute process, and you will transcend into the inner consciousness beyond the present moment. And that is where you get the bliss, inner happiness, and enlightenment. There are 4 stages of consciousness. One is wakefulness, like we are today at this time, we are wakeful. Second is sleep. Third is dream. And fourth is enlightenment of consciousness.
Thank you, Dr. Vinod Kumar. Now, the final question that we have received in writing, may I request Dr. Sanjiv Kumar to please reply, take it up. Thank you, sir.
It's a very common thing that most of the elderly couples, or unfortunate if they have lost one of them, they stay by themselves. Children are not just abroad, they are working in India, but in other cities, or in the same city, not staying with the parents. And they come across many health issues where they need some support from a family member. What's your advice to such situations, sir? Thank you.
Well, I think if the husband and wife, they are living together, but there is no immediate family available to them in the same home. So in addition to what they can do themselves by the various wellness practices that we have been discussing, I think there is a role of caregiver. The caregiver has a very wide role. Caregivers are, you see, informal caregiver is a family member, but there are plenty of formal caregivers available, and lots of organizations, both government and non-government, are producing an army of trained caregivers to meet the needs of such senior citizens who have no one to look after. And there are many organizations. Even there are organizations who send the caregiver to your home. You want for 12 hours, you want for daytime, you want for both day and night, everything is available. But if you want a empathetic, a compassionate, a very well-trained caregiver, right from the way he gives you company and friendship up to the stage when he has to change your diapers, you have to put you on wearable devices, or you have to remind you for medication, you have to remind you that this is time to eat. If you want that kind of caregiver, that is also available. It comes at a price. And so I think for this kind of situation, the extended family and the immediate family has to sit together and decide what kind of caregiver you want. And there are plenty of resources. I'm the agent of no one of these resources, but these resources are available in our NCR, Gurgaon, Noida, they are all available. So this is my take. And I would like to name two resources which are very benevolent and noble. One is called Good Fellows. Good Fellows is a resource which was started and encouraged by Ratan Tata. You know, Ratan Tata, according to all the available information, he was a lonely person. He had become old, but he induced a young man of great skills and empathy to think about the older elderly person. And he established a company called Good Fellows versus Grandpals. And he has been training the young people, both boys and girls, for the giving care to the elderly people and pairing them with suitable elderly people, and they give all the facility to them. That is one. Of course, they get salary and all that. The second is, which it come to my mind, is Vradh Mitra. Vradh Mitra is in Pune. Again, the same thing. That also is for price. So I think they are available. And the last point here, I will say that I think a time will come in our country when family members will become extremely tired and fatigued in giving sustained, compassionate, long-term care to very chronically ill people for years together. So a system has to come in this country, what we call as long-term care insurance. In this system, the care of the elderly for years together in the old age has to shift from the family to the community. How it will shift? At the age of 45 years, everybody in the country should start contributing a nominal premium for his future long-term care insurance. And the government has to prepare lot of paid volunteers, formal volunteers, who will go to these homes, properly trained, properly identified, properly verified. They will go to these homes and they will provide free service of caregiving for years together in lieu of the nomination in view of the that premium which they have been giving since the age of 45. So this is how it can be shifted to the community.
This question was from one of our colleague EC members, Pramita Chadda. Thank you, Pramita ji, for this question. She had some social commitment today, so she couldn't join us. Thank you, Pramita ji.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So now we are requesting, I'm now requesting all of you to please collect your questions. And the first question which Mr. Krishnan has already put it. So I request him to kindly share his question and Dr. Vinod Kumar to kindly answer. And after that, we have only 10 minutes for a Q&A, 10 to 15 minutes. So kindly be brief to the point. Thank you.
So thank you very much for this. Sir, Dr. Vinod, two things I think I would like you to put some insight on that. One is a fall in old age is a very major issue. So how to take care of that and prevention and steps. And another important thing is the dementia. So not to fall in the trap. So what are the steps, I mean, these dementia. Thank you.
So about dementia, so I think for warding off dementia in old age, And for keeping the cognitive health intact, I have already listed briefly the various brain challenging exercises. I could further expand them, but they are all in the knowledge of a social care provider as well as a health care provider. So he can consult that and he can himself do it. There is no problem at all. For example, accomplishing a task with effort, like he brings a piece of furniture from the market. He doesn't bring a open piece of furniture, he brings a packed furniture. But when he comes and brings the packed furniture, he has to unpack himself, he has to assemble the furniture. So when he is doing his brain challenging, music learning or imbibing a new language, I've already told you, like internet exploring. Exploring internet, not only online shopping, not only paying the bills, not only the recharging telephone, but even more complicated things like renewing your driving license or submitting your tax returns, whether it's the income tax or the house tax. So they are all brain challenging. Gardening is simple, planning a garden is simple, he can do it. So crossword puzzles, I've already told you. But another thing here which is important, the family members often do not know whether their senior member in the household is having a age-related forgetfulness, which is not dementia, or he is actually heading towards dementia. So that is important. You see, everyone, when he ages, there is a possibility of forgetting things. For example, they sometimes forget the names. I think even a young person can forget the names. I remember when I was 40-year-old, a friend of mine came after many years, and I even gave him a cup of tea, but I didn't remember his name. So that can be possible. But in elderly people, it can happen. So if an elderly person forgets, if he has lost an object, he has put a key somewhere, he doesn't know where he has put a key, where he has put the key. Or he forgets his appointments. Or he even forgets a social evening. You remember once we went to Samrat Hotel to attend a marriage, and there we were told the marriage was yesterday. My wife is a witness. So, but if it happens, it can happen to any person. I'm not, that happened 15 years back, I'm still intact. So, but if you do it again and again, and it is increasing day by day, it is going towards dementia. That is number one. Number two, a very important point is that if I lose my pen in the house and I'm trying to find out where I have kept my pen and I'm going round and round, finally I may find or I may not find, some family member may find. But a patient who is heading towards dementia, who has already got a dementia, he will know that he has lost something, but he will not know that he has lost the pen. Right? And because he doesn't know what he has lost, he will not search for it. And he will search for it, but without knowing what he has lost. That is second thing. Third thing is he will speak more and more. Repeated speaking, same question he will ask again and again. That is another thing. Fifth thing is that a elderly person who is not dementia, who is only age-related forgetfulness, if he goes to a street after maybe 1 or 2 years, he might forget the street where to go. Right? And an elderly person who has dementia, he will start forgetting the way even to his own bathroom, even to his own bedroom after some time. Another difference, last difference is that an elderly person, like who has no dementia, who is only age-related problem for forgetfulness, he may on a given day may forget the day and time. And he will ask his spouse, what is the day today, what is the time today, what is the day today at least. So, but a dementia patient, he will not only forget day and he will even start forgetting whether it is a morning, whether afternoon, whether it is the evening. Actually, the family members have to put in as the night dawns, the elder members often have to put all the lights off, put a picture with a moon on a black sky so that it reminds that dementia is night. So these are the differences.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. May I now invite the audience to please come forward with some questions, brief questions, and I would also request the virtual attendees, if they have any questions, to please be prepared. We have only limited time, so please be brief. Thank you.
Mine is a very simple.
Gurmeet, ये बताना था, virtual attendees, just keep an eye if they have any questions. Anybody is raising their hands. I'm sorry. Yeah, give the mic to her, Bajaji. Okay. Dhawan Saab.
And after how much interval it should be taken?
Well, it's about 2 liters, 1.5 to 2 liters, but not in one go. I think repeated small doses, maybe half a glass at a time, depending on his thirst.
Quantity at one time.
At one time, about half a glass or maximum 1 glass. Yes. No less than half glass, not less than half glass.
The slide could be shared with everyone, either in hard copy or online to everybody, that will be very useful. Thank you.
No, Dhawan Saab, in fact, I think the slides may not make sense, many of them, because and Dr. Vinod Kumar prepared the slides for him to explain to us. He has explained in great detail to us, which we may not be able to comprehend when we just look at the slides for anybody. But we will be preparing a report on this session, which will kind of give an insight to many people. Now, I think we pass on the questions to the floor. Give the mic to them, Bajaj Saab. I think she raised her hands first, actually. The lady, yeah. Thank you.
Can I do? My question is very simple, Dr. Kumar.
Hold on.
Tell Gurmeet to show one more slide. Briefly.
Okay, which one? Next one.
Left to next.
Dr. Vinod Kumar, thank you for a very enlightening session. My question is there any test which one can do, a lab test?
Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is there any lab test one can do in order to know that one is heading towards dementia? Because I read somewhere, so I'm asking you.
Who is asking the question?
The lady from the front.
Okay. Yeah, there are lab tests, and lab test is quite expensive. And the blood test, there are some blood tests which have come up, but more reliable than blood test is a test which is done in the cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is taken out of the backbone, and there are certain biomarkers in the CSF. They are amyloid-related biomarkers, and amyloid is the culprit substance which is accumulated in the brain in cases of dementia patients. So they can find out if there is a excess of those biomarkers in the CSF. The researchers are trying to fine-tune these tests so that they could be applicable to the blood also. That is one. The another test is what is called functional imaging. That is PET tomography. It's a positron emission tomography. They can also find out which areas are taking up the metabolically inactive substrate, which can be scanned by radiation and things like that. So there are certain scans, but I'm afraid they are not routinely available because of their not a total reliability and also because of the cost involved. There are screening tools, 12 screening tools for dementia. And what are the screening tools is test the vision, test the hearing, and test the LDL cholesterol, test the educational attainment that he has approached, what is his income, and whether he is diabetic, whether he is having hypercholesterolemia, whether he has hypertension. There are 12, there were 12 and 13th has been added, that is LDL. This is the Ministry of Health screening tools. Yeah.
Are there any, you told about those elderly care and all that. Are there any good elderly homes as such in Delhi or surrounding areas? Best quality, best whatever we want.
There are many now. There are many, not only near Delhi, there are many which are scrub up all over the country. They are very expensive. These are business enterprises, but there are some good homes who charge quite an exorbitant money, but they give good service also.
And second, language forgetfulness. By talking more, don't forget? I mean, lots of times we just don't remember the word we are going to speak. I mean, shall we conclude it is dementia, or just I didn't use the word for several months?
I've already told you the difference between the age-related forgetfulness and dementia. So it is, I think, for oneself and the family member to really find out. But if anything is accelerating and is going bad to worse, then you have to go to the doctor. With regard to this old age home, one thing I would like to say that in India at this time there are 1,500 old age homes. Many are unpaid and many are paid. Unpaid are not worthy of visiting because they are usually for those who are economically marginalized. But there are some very good elite old age homes also available. And there are different kinds of plans are there. I mean, you pay a lump sum money and then monthly money. That lump sum gets refunded after one is gone to the family. And there are also which are available purely on rent also. But there are also few, you can buy them forever. But the facilities are provided that they should be providing for the elderly people. There are all kinds of things. You can just go and Google and you will find a search. If you want, I can send a list of all these old age homes. They are mind-boggling. And this mind-boggling gets reminded what my student told me.
I would like to share the presentation. What you gave, the list of all the 10 points.
Okay.
Do you want to be, I mean,
Sure.
it?
So I was telling that when I spoke, after that, while he was acknowledging my lecture, he said it was mind-opening. But
Yes.
I wanted to tell him, I hope it was not mind-blowing.
I believe so.
Yes.
Learning something is the only thing which keeps person going continuously. Learning anything, new thing. Any new thing, that is what. Joining some place also makes a lot of difference.
The key is that even if you are tired and you don't feel that, push your body still.
Yes.
Push your body still and live in the world as if it is the last day.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And now there is also a request from Mr. Sanjay Awasthi, the head of the IOM here. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Professor Kumar. So it's not a question, it's something which I want to recall, a conversation I had with a service provider in Hyderabad. This service provider had provided a caregiver to a retired IAS officer and who had already lost his wife a few years back, and his children were living abroad, so he was alone. So he had actually written a long letter, it was a handwritten letter to this service provider. And first of all, it was a surprise because these days you don't receive handwritten letters. And it has basically had two key messages. The first message was basically thanking the institution for providing an excellent service provider who was so critical for him in the daily routine. The second message was, please do something about loneliness, because he was all alone, and that was something which was a great concern for him. And then he passed away a few months later. I just wanted to agree with you when some of the points which you had raised, they actually underline this incident or this experience, they underline what you said. Thank you.
Dr. Margaret.
Good afternoon. I really thank the newly elected committee, the president, vice president, with whom I have worked in Nairobi, Kenya, and it's a great honor to see Srinivasan and Sanjiv ji also, and for organizing this such a very wonderful session and Dr. Vinod Kumar lecture. Just very simple question. Does Gayatri Mantra helps? A lot of talk was done in dementia. Does Gayatri Mantra helps in curing dementia? Because few years before I have seen a research paper from AIMS in Times of India that they have experimented on many patients for 8 years, and after 5 years of analysis, they have published that paper, and paper was published in Times of India, that Gayatri Mantra reciting in the morning and evening helps in curing dementia. Secondly, the old persons in India are living in fear because India is in transition phase. Neither we have become rural, not urban. Children are the way it was mentioned. Children are living somewhere else, working in out of India or maybe here, but they are not with. Most problem comes when you become single. Both can't go together, so one becomes single, either wife or husband, and there is no support. You are talking about many of the support professional staff, but the fear is that you will see that in Greater Kailash, South X, many places, old persons are killed by the servants who are serving them for more than 20, 30 years.
Can you please come to the question?
So just I want to know,
Yeah,
what is your answer to that one? Gayatri Mantra and about taking the reliable help staff. Thank you.
Well, about Gayatri Mantra, I do not know. I can't answer that question, but I've heard about it. But I have not gone through the paper, so I'm not aware. And with regard to the reliable caregiver, well, your point is very well taken. The caregiver, if you take it from a ordinary placement agency, it might backfire. So, but there are some, as I said earlier, there are some very good organizations, very reliable organizations who can send caregiver for any kind of services that is required. It can be as simple as companionship and friendship, and removing and abolishing the loneliness to a large extent. And there are caregivers who are also for extremely sick people also. So they can be found out on Google. And of course, if you type a list of old age homes, the whole list will come out.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Did you want to say something about the slide?
No. I'll just. Well, while this slide is on, so I will just tell you that these are the resources, and this is a mobile app. You can get all the information about the aging. So you can get all the information about aging and healthy aging by downloading plethora of information. एक slide इससे पहले की दिखाइए. Yeah, this is the website I was referring to, and this website is run by me. It is a non-profit educational information website about various issues of aging, and these are the menu resources. और एक इससे पहले है बस. हाँ, this is the slide which I forgot to show you. Apart from the 10 commandments, these are the some other extent. We are extending the umbrella, connecting with nature, group of buddies, that is socializing, connecting with young people, and aging in the income. Try not to go to old age home. Nobody wants to go to old age home unless it is the last resort. And financial health, I will not. I have a lot of things to say, but I think people from Indus Bank are there, and facing mild stress. This is important. Stress, a chronic sustained stress is very bad for the health. It shortens the life. But repeated mild stresses are good for life and longevity and health. I can explain if anybody wants to do that.
Okay, now we have an online virtual question from Neena Gupta. After we take that question from Neena Gupta, and we would like our UN Resident Coordinator, Mr. Shombi Sharp, to give his insights, followed by Darrin Farrant and Malti Daswal. Now Neena Gupta, then Shombi, then Darrin, then Malti Daswal. Thank you. Neena Gupta.
Anji, good afternoon, sir. Your talk was very, very insightful. I want to know that constipation is a very common problem of the elderly. So how can we prevent it and how do you treat it without going to the doctor?
Yeah, it is a problem, no doubt. And there are changes which are happening in the digestive system. And ways to handle constipation are following. Number one, have enough drinking water. Number two, eat vegetables and fruits to the adequate extent because it contains fiber and prevents constipation. Number three, you have to not to be sedentary. You have to keep on doing some exercise in the daytime. That is number three. And number four, you have to, as long as possible, you should not be taking laxatives because if you take laxatives, they are habit forming. So these are some of the things that I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Shombi, are you ready, please? Yeah, in fact, our UN Resident Coordinator, Mr. Shombi Sharp is here to give his insights. Thank you so much, Shombi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivasan, Srini, to his friends, Dr. Kumar, also leading UNPAI, to the chief guest, Dr. Vinod Kumar, also a warm welcome. I have to say my father actually is a physician, internal medicine, but with a geriatric specialty. So I think he would love to have a conversation with you. He's also still practicing. So a great example of lifelong livelihood. But it's an honor on behalf of the UN country team to join the UNPAI for this. And thank you for organizing such an important discussion and event. I think really vitally important topics for everybody. I mean, obviously, these issues come into greater focus as pensioners later on in life, but clearly these are important for everybody at all ages of the life cycle, and mental health and how to connect, how to remain grounded, especially in this digital world. And I think right now the world is trying to grapple with how to save the younger generations from this overwhelming impact of devices in the hand, of distractions, of things that kind of sound very similar to the challenges that we've discussed today. I wanted to start by, or at least just on behalf of the UN system, to thank all of you for your long and distinguished service in the UN and commitment to the ideals of the United Nations. I think that, the UN, of course, is not one monolithic body. Unfortunately, many people tend to think of us simply as the UN Security Council and the dysfunctions that we know of at that level. But of course, we are not. The UN is a constellation of many different agencies addressing many different challenges in a broader concert, like an orchestra. And of course, those agencies, it's not about the buildings, but it's about the people. It's about you. So each one of you has made us what we are. And thank all of you for that throughout your service. I think, just to say, it goes without saying, unfortunately, that the world is at a bit of an unhappy crossroads at the moment. We look at the Sustainable Development Goals. We know that only about 17% or so of our global, targets are on track. Many are actually reversing in terms of progress. And yet this is a year of important milestones for the system. This is the 80th, UN at 80th anniversary of the United Nations, the very concept of communities and nations coming together for collective solutions to common challenges. This is the 10th anniversary of the Sustainable Development Goals. The ability, the triumph of the world to be able to come together across divides, across cultures, across different perspectives, and yet agree on a roadmap to the sustainable, prosperous life that we all, especially the younger generations, deserve. And yet, unfortunately, it's a bit of an unhappy milestone in the sense that suddenly, when we should sort of be celebrating, we're faced with a crisis, perhaps an existential crisis. The very moment that we need to be coming together more than ever, many corners of power are withdrawing from the multilateral space. Nations are being pushed to go it alone, so to speak. Everybody for themselves is the mantra. And, we're always, in a way, working for ourselves. So it's confusing the fact that our principles believe that when we work together, we all achieve and we all prosper. And when we go it alone, nobody in the end wins. So I think it's this very moment in time when we need to share the stories of impact of the United Nations. And you are all ambassadors in society. You are in your communities, in your circles, in your networks, in whatever it is that you are out there and doing. And hopefully taking Dr. Kumar's advice and multiplying the different dimensions of your influence within society. You are ambassadors for the United Nations. And it is so vitally important now that you are taking those messages out to the public. We know that we have to change. The United Nations has to change. We have been, the Secretary General has put in motion a reform process already for some years now. But of course, when suddenly financing for working together collapses, you have to change even faster. We have to do much, much more with much, much less. The Pact for the Future set a new direction in that regard, recognizing the digital age now, the Global Digital Compact also, a very important direction of change and stepping up to the times. I'm very pleased that Dr. Kumar, you put up the apps there and things. That one of my questions was going to be, how do we, we ourselves in the UN system and the staff currently are looking at how can we avail of AI, of all the applications, because it can be overwhelming. There's so many things, and we're all using many of these, and we might not even know it, but how to really dive deep into those applications that can help us in our lives and in our work. The UN at 80 exercise now has been launched, which is an even deeper, more radical reform agenda to really meet the challenges that I've been talking about. So just simply to say, as the Mahatma Gandhi said, that even a single lamp dispels the deepest darkness. And I think that is very important in the sense that India is very much a lamp we see of great potential in the world now, has been for a long, long time, no doubt about it. And we talked about some of the historical, the great historical contributions to the world. Now India has become an even stronger voice for the Global South, voice for the developing world, for the countries that have not created the problems that we are facing today, but are paying the highest prices, especially when we look at, for example, climate change. India, as the Secretary General has stated in his visit here, for a number of reasons, because India is showing how to achieve development results at scale. India is the country that can best is uniquely positioned to make the SDGs a reality, and also through South-South cooperation, because so many of the solutions that India is devising itself are very well suited to the challenges of the Global South, of the developing world. India has, on the topic of today, the world's greatest youth generation. I like to say more young minds to tap for solutions than any country has ever had before. And also, India must prepare rapidly and invest in preparing for the aging population, because already, as panelists would know better than I do, already those dynamics are in play. So it's not about efforts to curb population, it's about efforts to invest in the population that we have, and efforts to prepare for aging, to ensure inclusive infrastructure, to ensure livelihood opportunities, well beyond this outdated mindsets of when does a person's sort of productive career end, and then just go off into some kind of retirement. We've been hearing all of these really important examples of how a nation needs to embrace aging, needs to embrace what I would call pensioner Shakti, unleashing the pensioner Shakti. You know, I'm often speaking to young people, and of course, talk about they are the ones who will face the biggest challenges in the many decades to come. But it is still an intergenerational partnership. So it is still a partnership between, and we've had that in the slides, between young people and those of us, even though we may have gray hair, we are Jo Dil Se Young Hai, I like to say. So really bringing those two powers together, India has an incredible demographic dividend, not just the young one, but the older one as well. So for these reasons, we in the UN, the heads of agencies, my colleagues here in the UN House Committee, but also the UN country team more broadly speaking, prioritize working with pensioner associations, with UNPAI and the other sister or brother organizations that we do have. And we're looking at ways, how can we strengthen that? Of course, we're always very happy to provide facilities for gatherings. We'd like to look at, can we do a mapping of sorts we discussed about the skills present within the membership. How can we tap on those skills? Again, always important, but now even more so as we are facing reductions in staffing and reductions in programming and funding also. So just to conclude, we are very proud of what we are achieving today. And we absolutely recognize and appreciate that everything that we, the UN country team, is achieving today is only possible because we are, as they say, standing on the shoulders of giants, which is benefiting from all of the work and the contributions that you made during your careers and continue to make, again, as ambassadors for the United Nations. So I am very pleased to say, Aapka yaha hamesha swagat hai. You are always welcome here.
Thank you, sir.
Dil se dhanyavad. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So may I now request Mr. Darrin Farrant to kindly give his insights. Thank you.
No, they can. Technology can defeat me sometimes. There's so much wisdom here in the room, on stage and in the audience. It's such a pleasure to be here. Shombi said it all. So I'll just give one sort of insight or thought, an observation I had. For a long time, I worked at UN headquarters in New York. I was in the front office of the Department of Global Communications, the special assistant and then the chief of staff to the Undersecretary General. And it's a large department, DGC, many hundreds of staff. So someone was always retiring. And as part of the kind of practice at that department, they would get an exit interview with the Undersecretary General. And they'd come by our little corner of the office waiting for their 15 minutes with the USG, and I would get a chance to see a colleague, a familiar face, just before they left. And I was always asking them, so you're about to retire, what's next? What's up for you in your life, and what are your plans? And it was remarkable to see the different answers you would get from people. The people who were desperate to start the new stage of their lives, the people who had no idea what to do with the next stage of their lives. So I would only say, from the wisdom I've received from talking to them and from hearing from all their different perspectives, is really embrace this part of your life. Have a plan. Don't wait. Make plans for what you want to do and get the most out of it, and stay in contact with us so that we can benefit from your continued wisdom and support. So thank you.
Thank you, Darrin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Last, I invite Malti Jaiswal, inspiring seniors, very, very good NGO, really. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I will be very brief. I'm keeping people away from lunch, and we haven't had a stand-up break also even. So just that, it was very informative talk, and Dr. Vinod Kumar always very extensive, very, he addresses every query, with a lot of research, lot of depth of knowledge. Inspiring Seniors Foundation, what are we trying to do? We are working at healthy longevity. You see, longevity has already happened. We can witness it. But then how many of us have chronic diseases? How many of us have mental health disorders? How many of us may be having and many other issues? So what we are trying to do is to make India's silver population more empowered, more aware, create awareness and opportunities for them to be healthy. It's not just awareness, but opportunities also. Just to give you an example, how we create opportunities. So we are also a new age NGO, which is relying on technology also. We are using technology to reach to many people. I'll give you example. Right in this hall, last time I met Kalyan Majumdar. He's a mentor to a group of youth now. So he teaches, he teaches about communication skills to a young college students in Hyderabad. They are in Hyderabad, he is here. Shiv Varma ji, who's sitting here, he is a regular attendance of our, fit challenges and yoga classes every day he handles. And we also make tuitions to the young children, underprivileged children from 6th to 8th standard. Supposing I was to ask you to visit slum areas, none of us would be able to do that because of, logistics, lot many issues. But you will be very happy to teach a child from your home, right? English, maths and science to a 6th to 8th standard. And believe you me, the tutors have got so attached to the children. They want to continue teaching the same child in the next class. We are not covering 9th standard, but the students who passed 8th standard, the teachers say, no, I will learn 9th standard maths, but I want to continue. The opening of eyes, opening of dreams of those children, have made these seniors so happy.
Malti
So that's
sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm just saying that, be active, be productive, engage in purposeful engagement. We also have health programs to make aware, dementia awareness. I think dementia screening we will be carrying out, which will be at the community level. But I'm sorry if I've taken more time, but I'll be happy to answer any questions later on. Be productive, be active, be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Malteji. Thank you very much. I do apologize for having to request you to be brief, to which you were. Thank you so much. Now we have run out of time. I wanted to, but I'm unable to request the colleagues from AFUNPI, AFSM, and UPGI. Please accept my apologies. We have run out of time, completely overshot the time. Now, the final thing, I request Dr. Sanjiv Kumar to give the key takeaways from today's session. Thank you, sir.
It is a tough task to capture everything. We have taken notes and we will be circulating what we got from today. But what we learned, if I can recategorize them into 4 areas. The one area is promotion of health. And there are 4 universal principles we talk about when we talk of NCDs, cancers, etc. One, take care of your diet, and you had gone into details of that. Second is physical activity. You have to remain active. He went into. Third, no tobacco. Fourth, no alcohol. WHO has made that task easier recently. Earlier we were saying, 1-2 peg to chalta hai. 1 or 2 pegs are fine, good for health. No longer. Even 1 drop is toxic. So these are the 4 universal precautions, sir. I'll emphasize on what you said. Second is, be proactive to pick up symptoms early. And you had gone into details of what symptoms. If you have cough, long duration, you have a swelling somewhere, you have bleeding somewhere, and so on. So pick up those symptoms early. And if you get giddiness, early stroke signs, immediately rush to the healthcare providers, contact the healthcare provider, because if stroke is picked up early, heart attack is picked up early, it can be cured. The blocks can be removed. So be proactive in picking up your symptoms early, and you already have some disease, make sure that you follow the treatment as advised by the doctor. Compliance. And in the end, if I can say, your health is in your hand. It is your family, your home where health is generated and disease is generated. So take care of your health, remain healthy, and be proactive in treating the conditions for which doctors has advised you and picking up early signs of the disease. So in that I will summarize, but we will circulate the note from today's meeting with more details to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sanjiv Kumar. May I now request Mr. Shiv Kumar Varma ji to give his, he wanted to speak about, reinforce the importance of continued engagement in wellness. Thank you, sir.
My revered friend, Professor Vinod Kumar, whom I have known for 4 decades, distinguished heads of UN agencies present, Mrs. Malti Jaiswal, my UNPA friends, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a great pleasure and learning experience for all of us to listen to our distinguished guest speaker, Professor Vinod Kumar, a luminary in the field of geriatrics, who very kindly, vividly brought to us 10 commandments, which is, I will say, Gagar mein Sagar. By deciding to share with just 10 slides, he has packed all his decades experience and wisdom in them, which I am sure can serve as guidelines for further studies in different aspects of health issues. The vibrant discussion that followed through participants asking questions, it has created for us a wealth of knowledge, experience, and diverse experience. I hope you have noted that today's forum has been different and unlike the past conventional lecture sessions by guest speakers because of the interventions we have. Thank you. As a result of these discussions and exchanges, this forum actually evolved into a lively dialogue, exchange of ideas, experiences, and insights. It underscored an important truth. Wellness is not a solitary journey, but a shared commitment nurtured through open dialogue, meaningful collaboration, and continuous learning. As we reflect on today's enriching discussions, let's not view this as an end, but as the beginning of an ongoing conversation. Let's carry forward the spirit of this well-being forum into our daily lives and families. Wellness isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about embracing a life filled with purpose, positivity, and vitality. I can sincerely say that the ideas shared today can serve as seeds. Together, we can nurture them into flourishing gardens of health and well-being, both for ourselves and for future generations. As we conclude this remarkable health and well-being advisory forum, I extend my heartfelt gratitude, besides our distinguished guests, to each one of you. Thank you all for your presence, your considered comments, and your contribution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Shiv Kumar ji. Now, Manju ji wanted to have the floor for a couple of minutes. Thank you.
For 2 minutes only. Thank you so much, all, Mr. Kumar, Dr. Sanjiv Kumar, everyone. Everything is said very correctly, 99% first class. But I want to add my personal experience. I am single, facing a lot of problems, but I have come out of it. Spirituality is more important. Health is there. Going to social things are there. But remember God, chant God all the times. Thank you.
Thank you. Now the final word from none other than Srini ji.
I know we have run out of time, and we still have a few things to before we finish. And this is time for a call for action. In fact, I will say that a call to action, as we draw this meaningful session to a close, let me assure you, this is not an end, but the beginning of a larger journey. A journey of collective awareness, action, and transformation towards healthy and purposeful aging. I urge each one of you to carry with you not just the insights shared today, but also the inspiration to act through small yet meaningful steps that enhance your own well-being and contribute to the vitality of our larger UN retiree community. Throughout this forum, we explored the many dimensions of health and well-being, from physical activity to preventive care to mental resilience, emotional fulfillment, and spiritual strength. We have reflected on how human connection counters isolation, how nature nurtures healing, and how purpose keeps us going strong. Some key takeaways from today's rich dialogue include the importance of staying active, not just physically, but mentally and socially. Movement, curiosity, and engagement are keys to vitality. The centrality of mental health, where mindfulness, stress management, and a sense of purpose play a pivotal role in our overall well-being. The power of social bonds, how strong friendships and meaningful community participation can greatly enrich our lives. The healing presence of nature, a resource we must reconnect with regularly and intentionally. The value of spiritual and emotional well-being as grounding forces that provide inner peace, balance, and resilience. But beyond the insights, let today be a catalyst for action. Good health and well-being are not passive states. They are choices, they are habits, and they are commitments that we make every day. If today's discussion has nudged you to prioritize your health, take that first step, no matter how small. If you feel inspired to renew your social connections, reach out to someone to engage with your local community. If you have recognized the importance of lifelong learning, consider acquiring new skill. Or better still, sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Let this forum serve as a stepping stone towards deeper engagement, continuous learning, and stronger intergenerational and community ties. Now, it's time for me for a short acknowledgement. I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to my colleagues in the executive committee of UNPAI and our committed volunteers whose tireless dedication made today's event a reality. I would be failing in my duty if I did not place on record UNPAI's and my own sincere gratitude for the unwavering support of the UN Resident Coordinator and UNDP administration. In particular, the IT team, and more particularly the key technical lead supporting us on this floor, Mr. Gurmeet Singh. Let's give us a hand for their flawless, efficient, and proactive technical support at every stage. Our thanks also go to our housekeeping and support staff, gardeners, security personnel at the UN House, whose behind-the-scenes efforts have enabled a smooth and welcoming experience for all of us. To our distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, and all participants, your presence, ideas, and spirit of engagement have made this session both meaningful and memorable. Together, let us reaffirm, we are not just UN retirees. We are a vibrant, engaged, and evolving community, still contributing, still learning, and still shaping the world around us in purposeful ways. Before we conclude, as we do, we still have a couple of minutes to kind of share mementos and appreciation and things like that to the chief guests or resident coordinators and the guests and things like that. And then, may I warmly invite all our distinguished guests, panelists, and participants to join us for a group photo session on the ground floor. Following the photo, we invite you to proceed to the networking lunch, where we hope the conversations and connections will continue in an informal and engaging setting. Thank you so much. Now it's time for, I already said, Sanjiv, we are going to do it now. As we will invite one by one to present the memento to our chief guest and everyone. May I invite the UN Resident Coordinator to present the memento to our chief guest, please. Chief guest, Dr. Vinod Kumar. And in turn, Dr. Vinod Kumar will present the memento to the Resident Coordinator. Shombi, stand for a while. Sanjiv, Dr. Vinod Kumar will present the memento to Shombi. Shombi. It's from the student to your teacher, leadership, and thank you so much. Now, Shombi, come here. Dr. Vinod Kumar to Shombi, please. Now, Sanjiv, as the Vice President of the UN Pensioners Association, can present the memento to various. Darrin is there. Darrin Farrant. Beach mein, come to the center, Darrin. Yeah. Varma ji, उठिए. Varma ji. Next आपको. Now, Mr. Shukmar Varma will present the memento to Sanjay Awasthi, please. बीच में आइएगा. Now, Mrs. Vinod Kumar will present this thing to Malti Jaswal. How many we left? How many we left now? 3. Okay. No. We are left with now. Now, Manju, come forward. Manju will present a memento to our Vice President of AFUNPI, Dr. Sharma, Prem Sharma. Manjuji. And I cannot ask Ashok Mitra ji to present to their own president, WHO. Then who am I invite now? Why don't you come, Pushpa? Come up. Pushpa Daniel and of course Vijay Subramanian will present the memento to our WHO Association of Former Sophomores President, Mr. Kanagarajan. Yeah. And thank you so much. Then Dr. Markande Rai will present the memento to our UNICEF Association, Mr. Dhirendra Asthana. Done? Yeah, now we have done with this thing, and thank you so very much once again from my side and on behalf of the UN Pensioners Association India and on behalf also of the 3 other sister associations who are present here, AFUNPI, WHO's AFSM and UPGI, and I convey my sincere thanks to us. Now let us proceed now ground floor for a group photograph followed by networking lunch. Niche.